Hello, and welcome everybody to our next career health hour here. So this is already week 6, so that's pretty exciting. And today we are going to focus our conversation around what I would refer to bridge jobs and side gigs that support your counseling path. And I will share the agenda with you here in a moment. Okay, before I do, most of you should be familiar by now with this slide, but for those of you that are new to today's session or are watching the recording, here is a brief overview about myself. So my name is Tina Marie Heinrich, but you can just call me Tina. And I already hold degrees in business management and economics. So I have an MBA, Master of Science, and a Bachelor of Arts, majors in human resources and global supply chain management. I'm currently completing my Master of Arts in Counseling Psychology. So I am actually graduating this month, which is pretty exciting. And I am a chartered professional in human resources, meaning I have my CPHR, and I'm also a Society of Human Resource Management certified professional, meaning I have my SHRM CP. And what I bring here to the table is a combination of over 15 years of corporate experience, including being trained on and providing trauma-informed HR, leadership, organizational development, project management, and marketing. And I'm very excited to combine this previous business management and HR background now with the clinical lens. And this is how the career health sessions were actually created. Okay, so let's look here at today's agenda. So same outline as we have used in previous sessions. So we will start with our welcome and check-in. Then I will do some psychoeducation on today's topic. And then we will do the individual activity I created for today, and followed by the breakout sessions. So you have an opportunity to share with each other. And at the end, we do our takeaways and closing. All right. So for today's check-in question, I put the following here on the slide. Does your current paid work feel more like a bridge, a burden, or both? So I'll give you a moment to think about it. And then we will go around our virtual room here so you can share your take on this question. Very curious about your answers. And I should point out, I should make the assumption that we're all, the same season, I should say, in our professional life. So if this question doesn't fully apply to you at this point in time, you do not have to share, or you can just answer the question based on your current situation. So I just wanted to point this out here. Before I talk more about the slide here, that you see here and what's written on the slide, I wanted to point out that not every non-counseling job is a detour, and maybe at this point in time I will share a bit of my own journey and that actually brought up the topic here of today's session. I myself, I'm currently working in a non-counseling profession, being a human resources professional. Although you might argue there are certain components of my job that have similarities to counseling, and certainly transferable skills, but just on a clinical level, obviously, human resources is not counseling, so it's a different job in that sense. And I do have my reasons, why I'm working in that profession right now, and likely will continue working that profession for the near future. While at the same time, I will still continue working as a counselor. So basically doing both jobs. But this is just me and based on my own own unique circumstances. So the situation might look different for every one of you. So this is just about my own background and what brought up today's topic. So, sometimes we might find ourselves, especially towards the end of the clinical practicum, with the question of, what comes next. And maybe some of you may feel some pressure, or even have questions like, oh, I'm currently working in a non-counseling job, whatever the job may look like. Maybe I should do whatever I can to switch over to counseling entirely and leave my other job behind, or whatever might be going through your mind. I don't know. But that's why we have the conversation today, trying to look at it from a perspective that maybe it is more of a bridge job that you have right now, maybe your job before you started your counseling career, or maybe it is a job you are actually going to take on right after your practicum, something that is non-counseling, but it's something, that provides you with income, structure, um, a bit of maybe financial breathing room, or just, something different from doing counseling, as you are gaining more skills in counseling and maybe preparing for your private practice or whatever this looks like. And also think about the transferable skills that a job like this may give you. As I mentioned with my own example, HR has certain similarities to counseling, though there are certain transferable skills I can tap into. So a job like this is something we would call like a bridge job. In terms of this job, even though it's not a counseling related job right now, it will likely get you closer to it, right? So this is what I mean by bridge job. Even though it looks like a non-counseling job right now, it is not taking you on a different path or farther away from your goal. It might actually be something that will help you reach your goal just in a different way. The whole book kind of makes it a bit clearer what I mean by bridge job. Now, let's talk about the type of job that is more or less the opposite, I would call it. Um, Sometimes, for different reasons, we find ourselves in a job, and it could be any kind of job, that may fund your life in terms of, this is where you get your pay stub from, or whatever your income looks like. But maybe this is a job that costs you too much energy, right? So yes, it is the job that provides you with the income you need, but there is a certain cost associated with it. Maybe you are on the fence of burning out for different reasons, or something else is going on. But basically, compared to a bridge job, the draining job is more something that in the long term is likely not sustainable for you. And if you are using this kind of job and trying to prepare yourself to switching to a counseling career, this may take a bit longer compared to a bridge job. So this is a difference between the two terms here that I put on the slide. And this is really where career health comes in, right? This is where we start looking at the job you're currently working, whatever this job looks like, if this is supporting your overall path. And it's not about if this job looks perfect on paper, like nice, fancy, on your resume. It's really about what is your goal, your career goal, but also what is sustainable for yourself. So think back on our previous sessions that we have done here in Career Health when we started talking about the different seasons, what sustainable enough looks like and feels like for you, and so on. Right. And so again, the question or the answer to this question may look differently for everybody. This slide here is more positioned around the assumption that whoever is watching this session here right now has the goal of becoming a counselor down the line. But you can apply the same concept to whatever job you're working and whatever your professional vision looks like. Right? Let's say, for example, if somebody wants to become a pilot, one day, right? So you can use the same concept of like bridge job and training job, right? To look into where they are on the path of becoming a pilot one day. So again, just to highlight that the same concept can be applied to different professions. Okay, so let's look into the individual activity I prepared here for today. So let me walk you through the activity first before we set the timer here, so you get a chance to try it out. So we are taking it step by step. And the first step would be like drawing a table. And to make it a bit easier for you, I have given you an example here on the slide. So you have three columns. The left one, you would label it as how my current work supports my path. This is kind of like the title of this column. So think about what skills, connections, or stability does your current role or job give you, right? So try to list all of those things, like all of the positive things that you can think of right now. The like anything that supports your path, meaning your goal, your vision that you have, your career goal, career vision. So when you're done with this path, the next one in the middle is labeled with how your current work strains your path. So when you are working on the middle column here, I would like you to think about what does it cost in energy, time, or emotional capacity. Right? Everything comes at a cost that is normal. Right? There is no perfect job out there. So I want to put this out there. So even if you find yourself writing down a few things here in this column, this is quite normal, right? Because it's just part of work. But yeah, the purpose of the activity is just to write it down. So we actually have this here in this full big picture, right? That's the purpose here. And then as a last step here, look at the column at the very far end here. And this is where the work comes in. So I labeled it how to turn it into a bridge. So the prompt here is to get you thinking, what one boundary or adjustment might make it more of a bridge? So this is really more about thinking about the middle column, right? And maybe even thinking about what you put down to the very left and taking all those things, right? Your supports and what strains you, what is in your way, so to say, in your path. Look at both things and think about, okay, what can a small adjustment, or maybe two or three, who knows, look like to actually use this and make it a bridge? Because this is very well possible, right? Especially with your support, use your support. This is really the foundation for the bridge. But as you know, the saying, sometimes challenges can be stepping stones, to get you to your goal. So also think about challenges you're experiencing right now and how can you use those or the lessons learned from them to actually use them to build your bridge as well. So a combination of the left column and the middle one. So I'll give you about 10 minutes here so you can get started on it. Don't aim for having a complete table by the end of 10 minutes, but at least start thinking about this concept and then you can continue working on it on your own after today's session. Okay, it's now time to put you into breakout sessions. So that will give an opportunity to share with each other what you wrote down so far on your table. So pick whatever you like from your table that you feel comfortable sharing with each other. And yeah, if you're on the role of being the person who listens, focus on reflection and asking questions like what would make this role feel more like a bridge and less like a burden. So when I say it this way, I'm referring to maybe the current job the person is working in might not be a counseling related job, might be something else, right? Or could be a different situation in their life, right? So try to adjust the question based on the situation. And yeah, we'll give you 20 minutes here. And please make sure you keep an eye on the time so you can all take turns with sharing. And again, only share what you feel comfortable sharing with each other. So we are already here at the end of today's career health session. And as always, we use this time here for our takeaway activity. And so for today, put two prompts here on the slide. So first one is, what is one small way you could make your current work more counseling career supportive this month? So going back into the table you created. And the other prompt is, what else are you taking away from today's session? Yeah, and as always, welcome any feedback, comments, or questions that you may have here at this point. And so we will continue with our career house sessions next week. And if you ever have a topic in mind that you would like me to present on, feel free to reach out to me. Happy to look into it. Thank you, and I hope to see you again next time.